Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. He's Chris Kotsopoulos. I'm Paulydee. Gotta love the shirts. Gotta love the shirts. If you want a shirt, let me know. You got to message me. We got so much to do. But if you want an Instigator shirt,
send cash.
Please message me, Beth or Chris Kotsopoulos, on any one of the pages. I want to start the show first by saying Beth Penny, she does so much behind the scenes. She is the producer of our program. She does great. She puts out great content for us. She really does such a fantastic job, and she's such a quiet hero. And we're so glad to hear, Beth, that you're in remission. What a great post.
Yes.
We love you. We appreciate you.
Cheers.
You're part of the team. And when Beth feels up to it, we're gonna have her on here probably next year when she's ready. We'll probably have her on the third camera from time to time.
Who knows her hockey?
So she can show her face and be the advocate for the fans. She's going to bring in the fan questions and comments and things like that. So there's a lot of fun that we're going to have there. But Beth, we love you, and we're glad that you're in remission. So God bless you, and you just keep pushing, girl. All right. With that being said, we got a lot to do, man. Lots to do, lots to talk about. I mean, we got topic after topic. The first place I'm going to go is I'm going to go to the easy stuff. Match made in hell. Looks like the Flyers interviewed John Tortorella.
Oh, your favorite coach.
Oh, garbage with garbage.
Oh, stop. You know I like Torts.
I know you do. Uncle Vinny with the Broadway Blues. Bruisers.
Oh,
Street.
listen, he'd probably do a good job there. Torts has never really done bad with a team at the beginning when he gets there. So, listen, your boy Uncle Vinny. I know, in case you don't know, Paul reminds Paulie of all his relatives in the past.
Uncle Vinny. Never happy.
I always think that this Uncle Vinny character is going to come in and ruin the party. You know what I mean? He's one of those. But listen, Tort's an abrasive guy, but he does a good job when he first takes over a team. He did a good job, obviously, in winning a Stanley Cup in Tampa. Remember that? Remember people, like Torts is the first coach to win a Stanley Cup there. Okay?
Yep.
Not Mr. Library Bookworm, Mr. Cooper.
Yeah.
It was Torts, your favorite guy. So I like Torts. Torts is a little bit abrasive. I think he's one of those that gets in your face, and but I don't think he minds the players giving it right back to him. So, but being in Philly kind of sucks. It could anywhere else, John. You could have went. I mean, like, why Philly?
Nobody wants him, Chris. Nobody wants him anymore.
Oh, stop! Listen to you. Nobody wants him.
Guy left.
If nobody wanted him, why didn't
trash in America? If Baltimore had a team, he'd be there.
Oh, stop already. Listen, he's got a winning record. Listen, he did a great job in Columbus. You can't complain there, right? Vancouver became a decent team out with him there. The Rangers, we all know his history with the Rangers. I mean,
he's just an angry old man.
Stop. Listen, he'll be the best coach Philly's had in the last couple of years, that's for sure.
Beth just texted me and said she loves us, so just figuring I'd tell you.
He's awesome.
She is awesome.
I think that would be a good thing from now on. Like maybe next year or maybe before this season, let's get a triple screen and have her in it.
We actually have one, and we're gonna figure something out for her. The other thing is I got to get her a shirt, so I'm working on that as well. If you want a shirt, please message us as soon as you possibly can. You're looking, if I'm being honest, you're looking about $25 plus shipping. So if you want a shirt, let us know, and we'll get you a shirt.
And if you want a 3X or a 4X, I'll just give you mine.
They're awesome.
Hey, look, fits like a glove.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Island Printing does a great job. Here we go. So yeah, all right. I'm done with the match.
That's the Torch story. You're happy now.
I'm done with the match. I'm done with the match made in hell.
Okay, let me go with the next one. Okay, this is something I've wanted to address for a little over a week now, but I know there's some guy on TNT, Paul Bisonhead or Bisonhead or something like that.
Bisonhead.
Yeah, whatever. He kind of criticized
Biz Shitty.
You kind of criticized the Ranger fans and the Ranger people about how the referees gifted the Rangers the 7th game against Pittsburgh. I know it's a little late. That series is over, but I like his show and I like what he does. He's kind of like a character and all that crap. But
what sucking grizzles?
Well, would you? I don't know what it was, like spitting giblets, whatever, something like that. Paul, did you lose a bet or something? I mean, why so angry? I mean, think about it. You must have lost a bet or something to sit there and cry about that on the 7th game, after the 7th game. Last I looked, did Pittsburgh not have 3 chances to win that series? They had 3 games to win that series, to close that series out. And now you're going to sit there and complain about the referee in the 7th game? Really? What about the refereeing for the whole series? Did you complain about that? No. And last I remembered, and I'm a big Sidney Crosby fan, and I'm a big Murray Lemieux fan, because obviously 2 of the greatest players that ever lived. Even though some people might disagree with me, don't ever tell me they never got calls. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. So for you to cry about the 7th game, you must have had a heavy bet on the game or something. And then you went on your show and you just trashed Ranger fans, and you trashed this and you trashed that, all about New York Rangers. Well, you know what? Too fucking bad.
Amen. And then to say that it's typical garbage hockey.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing he would know about.
Yeah. Let me add on to this. It's funny you say that, because I've listened to Spittin' Giblets. I'm not impressed with the programming at all. I think it's very biased, and the situation with that is, you know what? If you're going to talk like that, then talk like that throughout the league, because if I'm being honest and I'm watching the Rangers and Hurricanes now, the officiating is so much different than it was with the Rangers against the Penguins. First of all, get your facts straight and understand that the Penguins had more power play advantages and they had more 5-on-3 advantages in that series. So, Biz Shitty, get it right and then make a comment, first of all. Second of all, I am a Ranger fan, and I am going to talk shit back to you and tell you I'd be glad to drop the gloves, big boy. Let's go. Come on the program. Let's debate it. Know your facts before you open your mouth. 23-19 with the power plays. It was 4 5-on-3s compared to 2 5-on-3s for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And just like Chris said, they had 3 opportunities to close it out. So don't blame the officiating. And finally, like I said, if you look at the officiating now, between nobody cares about the Rangers and nobody cares about the Canes, it seems really fair throughout. And it seems really well called throughout. So get the facts right. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to move on because you took too much of my time.
Yes. We have to get that out, though. Like, I know, like, you and I have been talking about it for over a week now. So,
yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity to do a show every day or, through whatever satellite or whatever, like they do with their Spitting Giblet show. So, that's it. So,
Spitting Shitlet. All right.
Hey, can we get a pink Whitney? No.
Hey, so let's talk about this next topic. This is really important stuff. Kind of scary, but important. Listen, I don't know. I wasn't there. I do live in Tampa, but I wasn't there. What about the Panthers night out Sunday night? Apparently, before Game 4 in Tampa, apparently, allegedly, eyewitness accountability. The Florida Panthers and some of the players were out until almost 3 a.m. frequenting a couple of gentlemen clubs.
Yeah, little peelers. Oh, checking out the peelers the night before games. The playoffs. I mean, come on. What's that all about? I mean, I'm going to do a mea culpa here too. I picked the Panthers. Nice job they did. They went out instead of like Panthers. They went out like pussycats, obviously. But this story has some, it has some bite to it. I'll call it that. Okay, it has to have some bite to it because it's not like hockey players in the present day and the past days, like when I played, that we would not visit a couple of Ripper bars. We obviously did. I'll admit it. We all did. You know what I mean? So, but to do this like on the night of a playoff game, I know there's actually no 110% confirmation, but if there's a story that leaked like that, which it did, it's got to be true. I don't care what anybody says. As an ex-player, I know it's got to be true. They might have packed their bags knowing that they were down 2-zip or 3-zip or whatever it was. And, fuck it. You know what I mean? Let's go out tonight and have a good time. Even though they came up with a 49-shot performance.
Okay. I was going to say that. They should have did that more often.
Exactly. That was probably the guilt trip that they woke up in the morning when they had the hangover. I don't know.
That's what I said.
You know what I mean?
Shit. If that was the case, they should have done that throughout the series. They'd probably be playing tonight.
Yeah, as a Stone Cold Steve Austin, the rest of us say, hell yeah. Why not?
Man, I'll tell you.
I think there's probably some truth to the story that they were out. I'm not going to deny that. I think that players may have changed when it comes to everything else, when it comes to electronics and stuff. But damn, you got to be a little bit more careful, Paulie, these days. We know that everybody's got a camera, a phone, this or that, and how that leaked out. It's got to be true. The people that own the bar were the ones that said it. So, that's pretty embarrassing. If it is 110% true, then it's embarrassing that you got caught doing it. What's Barry saying?
No, I just want to say, Barry,
Rink of dreams, people. Rink of dreams.
First of all, yes, Rink of dreams. Second of all, Barry, you're such a good man. First of all, I don't know. I don't know if Beth, you can see it, but Barry said, "Way to go," and he's pulling for you. And then obviously Barry he said, looking good. Everyone's looking good. Barry got his shirt, Chris. Barry got his shirt.
Pretty soon we're gonna have to get hats though for Barry and me because of our receiving hairline. See that, Barry? I'm starting to look like you up top.
Well, I don't have that.
Your time will come. Your time will come, big boy.
So, but anyway, Barry, we love you, man. We appreciate your support, and I can't wait to meet you this summer. I'm gonna make a way. I think you said something about August. I think I could pull something off in August. So,
and if you do, you're going to pick me up on the way.
Absolutely, we are going.
Hey, you got to get us a place to stay. I'm not camping out in a tent or something like that. Okay, just letting you know right now.
I'll get us a good room. All right. Well, listen.
Anyhow, let's finish off that stripper thing. That thing's ridiculous. If that's what they did, they deserve to get beat 4 straight.
Yeah.
But. They went out like pussycats. The Panthers went out like pussycats. 4 straight. Okay? Think about that. They didn't even give a meow. That's how bad they were.
Chris has got jokes. I love it.
But what do you want? I took them. I want Tampa to lose so you don't get that 3-peat.
Oh, man. Listen, if the Rangers keep it up, definitely want Tampa to lose.
Oh, and by the way, if you want to talk about refereeing, maybe they should go back and look at the Leafs series when all the calls Tampa got.
Oh, Chris is taking shots.
Why not?
Well, you might as well finish that thought.
Well, they did. There was a video. I saved it, and unfortunately, I'm not skilled enough to put it on here. But there was a panel up in Canada there right after the Leafs series that showed numerous times where Tampa grabbed sticks of Toronto Maple Leafs in key situations that either caused a penalty in favor of Tampa or actually let some goals in favor of Tampa. So there was a little bit of scuttlebutt going on up there about, that they're grabbing sticks and getting away with it at the most opportune times. But you know what? This goes back to, like, I don't want to be Paul Bisonhead here and complain about it. If that's what they were doing, and they're getting away with it, do something about it, Toronto. You know what I mean? You got to do something about it. But there was a panel in one of the sports companies up there. I think it was TSN or SN Sports Network, and they were talking about it, Paul, and they showed a lot of videos that had the proof.
Yeah, you saying a lot of video proof of grabbing sticks, right?
Yeah, and like I said, at the most opportune time in favor of Tampa. Not, in other words, this one caused the Leafs to get a penalty, although Tampa should have got it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all that. Whatever. Whatever's done with. But this goes back to, like, how we always banter back and forth about all the refereeing. It's just so inconsistent in the playoffs, and it's really, I don't want to paint the walls totally black of the actual referees, because their job is tough enough as it is with the high-speed game that you have today, because there's no more clutching, there's no more grabbing, there's no more. It's so fast for them to make decisions now. But this goes further than that. It goes all the way to the top. It goes to the NHL and their board of directors, who institute these new rules year after year, and it's just hard to be consistent with the garbage that they keep putting in. And that's why fans get frustrated with this shit. That's why we make fun of it all the time. That's why we go after referees. That's why we go after the rules. That's why we go after the player and all this stuff. What somebody gets away with one shit doesn't get away with the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Colorado just scored again, Paulie. So
what's the live up there? 2-0 against the Blues?
It's 2-0 now.
We're going to talk about we might as well cover the Kadri situation now.
Oh, yeah, you got to.
I was going to jump around, but we might as well talk about it. A lot to be said. Kadri is accused of purposely taking out St. Louis goalie Binghamton. I don't see malicious intent to hurt here, but more importantly, last game scores a hat trick.
That same game. No, it was that same game.
Then Perron decides to jump him from behind. Just a serious situation there. Not really sure the NHL handled it correctly, but again, we've talked about so many different situations. We'll talk about the Lucic hit on Mike Smith, but Chris, I mean, you're a former player. You've been in the mix. You know what it's like to be a defenseman in the game for many years. I know it's a different era, but what's the mindset here between? I know you always got to protect your goalie no matter what, but what's the mindset here with Perron jumping Kadri from behind, and then what's the mindset of Kadri and the collision with Binghamton?
Well, I watched that play, and I don't think it was malicious. I don't think there was serious intent at all. I mean, it was a guy going to the net, being, side by side with a St. Louis Blue defenseman. Unfortunately, Bennington got hurt. And in the old days, when something like that would have happened, we'd have taken care of business right there and then, whether it was intentional or not. But the way the rules are today, you're going to get an instigator. You're going to give them the power play. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. So St. Louis had nothing. They could do nothing about it. And at the time, they didn't know whether Bennington was going to be able to play or not. You know what I mean? But come next game, they went after Kadri again with Perron and all that. And even Buchnevich got in there, which kind of shocked me too. He gave him a cross check. Listen, these calls with the goaltenders seem to be more prevalent now than they've ever been. I mean, Lucic behind the net with Smith. I'll say real quick on that one. If Lucic really wanted to hit him, they'd still be peeling Smith's head out of the boards right now. Okay, I don't care what anybody tells me, because Lucic is a monster and a beast. Now the Kadri thing, obviously getting the death threats and all that shit because he's a Muslim and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, fans are fans, and they'll use whatever weapons they can, and that's because we have this bullshit Instagram, the bullshit Twitter, and all that stuff, which I can't stand. Right. Yes, I'm on Facebook, people, but I'm only on there because of certain things like this, and talking about hockey 9 times out of 10, and putting my rock music up. Yeah, every now and then I get a little political, but I will never go on any of those devices. Period. Okay, and that's what happens. You get tough guys, tough people behind the electronic device, and they're going after Kadri, giving him death threats and all that shit. I think at first, when he came in the league in Toronto, I think there was a lot of concern because he was like one of the first Muslims ever to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of consternation, I remember, back then in the city of Toronto. But you know what? I think it's time to grow up. This is going to happen. There's more and more, different people playing in the game now than ever. And you should treat them all the same, people. Don't worry about what their ethnic background is or what color they are, or what especially their political views too. That really pisses me off too, because if you're a conservative or a righty, you get shit on all the time. But if you're a lefty, oh my God, you're such an angel. You know what I mean? So yeah, Kadri basically he stuck it in their ass, Paulie, by scoring all them goals the next day. Think about it, I mean, it went off his shoulders like it should. He handled it properly. The bottle throwing, was it Bennington that threw the bottle at him during the interview? Are we ever going to find out about that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's basically stuck it up everybody's ass right now. The haters and the St. Louis Blues by scoring all these goals and being one of the best players on the Avalanche right now. Yeah, I know it's been a long time with it, Paulie, but it needed to be talked about.
I have nothing to say. I totally agree with everything you said. Here's where I'm kind of confused. Okay, so I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if you can see the article, but looking, Perron gets fined the maximum amount, $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay? But there's no ensuing
suspension or anything.
Yeah. So here's where I just want to make a point here. There's recognition that the player was wrong. $5,000 is a joke. We both know that, especially for a player like Perron. It's an absolute effing joke.
Yeah.
So my problem is with this, and there's so many mixed signals. The NHL fined the guy because they found him to have done something wrong, right?
Yep.
But yet, not enough to reprimand him on the legal side of things when it comes to playing in the game. And I just feel like it's a freaking double standard for different players at different times. Now, let me tell you right now.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong in saying that.
If that's Ryan Reeves, if that's Maroon, if that's a guy that is known maybe for his more physicality, I bet you that ends up differently.
I agree.
Or
we used to have
against a superstar. If that was Sidney Crosby to get checked from behind, or Alex Ovechkin, or maybe even Connor McDavid, if that play ensued against that player, I think this is different. I'm sorry. I think there's more than a $5,000 fine, because the $5,000 fine shows me that there's recognition that there was a foul there. Okay? But it doesn't ensue anything serious because it's not any big name players, and it's not anything that.
Well, they're trying to play both sides of the fence here.
Exactly.
That's what they're trying to do.
It's sickening.
Okay, and they do that quite often throughout any game in hockey. If I accidentally cut you with my stick and it's a complete accident, everybody knows it's an accident, I get a penalty, don't I?
Sure do.
Okay, so exactly, I'll give you a good one. Trouba's hit on Domi yesterday. Great hit to me, but by rule, he made contact with the head, didn't he?
Yes.
They didn't call it, did they?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So they play both sides of the fence. You're right. A $5,000 fine, which you're saying, and I believe, I don't know the rule 100% or the fine's 100%, is like one of the maximums you can fine a guy.
It is.
And yet you don't, he doesn't miss a game or, you know what I mean, didn't get a game misconduct or anything like that. So they play both sides of the fence. And this is where, again, it goes back to all the rules that they put in that they perceive are going to protect people in this league.
Right.
And some are good. I'm not going to complain about all of them. But there's some that are just so horseshitly bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word, people, but I made it up. Horseshitly. Okay? They're just bad. They're just bad. And there's no two ways about it. You know what I'm saying?
Can you look that up, horseshitly?
Well, if it's not, it's a new word, people.
If it's not a word, we're going to put it in the Urban Dictionary.
Like it rhymed. Horseshitly bad, you know?
Horseshitly bad. I love it.
Well, I was going to say it's horseshit bad. You can't say that.
Right. Well, whatever it is, it's still good stuff. All right.
I'm going to refill while you're talking.
Yeah, wait a minute. That's not fair. It was my turn to refill.
No.
It's fine. It's fine.
You just get your scrawny little Italian ass down there. Okay?
Yeah. This guy, he's always got jokes. All right. So let me do this. Beth's laughing. Well, I'm serious. I want to see if horseshitly's in the Urban Dictionary. I bet you it is.
I love that.
Maybe it's in the Canadian Urban Dictionary.
Hey, listen, don't blame the Canadians for the English language. You Americans screwed it up a long time ago.
Oh, I know. It's hilarious.
Well, what am I talking about?
Where else are you going to have this much?
I'm American now.
This is too much.
I forgot.
All right.
I forgot I became an American.
Yes, you got dual citizenship.
Yes, I do.
All right, listen, Kots, I'm gonna refill now.
All right.
I'm gonna transition into something that you could talk about while I go and refill. Okay.
All right. What are we talking about?
Well, I kind of want to be a part of this, but I'll be right back. So let's talk about obviously the first series that's done, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. We talked about, the funny part about the strippers, which it's not really funny, but it is funny, especially with all the pussycat.
Let's go to another topic. Tampa walked through Panthers like they were, like I told you, pussycats. Period. Plain and simple. I mean, there was a couple of games there. I think Florida looked like they had a shot. That second game is the one that really screwed them with like 8 seconds to go. They go behind the net, and their defenseman chases a guy, and next thing you know, I think it was who was it that scored the goal there? Can't remember for Tampa with like 3 seconds to go. That was just absolute brain fart by the Florida defenseman. Period on that play. There's no reason for you to go behind the net and chase Kucherov. I think Kucherov made the play. When there's no time on the clock. He can't score from behind the net. So the defenseman goes out. Goes after Kucherov. He dumps it in front of the net. Next thing you know, whistle goes, game over. And after that, Florida was just like scrambling like anything to try and get back in the series. But Florida was a big disappointment, Paulie. They're think about this for a second, okay? If the Rangers get past Carolina,
right?
Tampa's already disposed of Florida. That's the top 2 teams.
Yep.
And, Rangers finished 4th overall, I think, in the East, I believe. And Tampa was tied with them. Points-wise, 104, 100. No, the Leafs were tied with the Rangers. And Tampa was 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it worked out. So think about that. So what does the regular season mean now?
Really nothing.
Florida proved that. That's for sure.
Well,
Getting swept 4 straight. I don't care. I know Tampa's a great team, and I know I'm only going against them because I don't want them to three-peat, and I'll admit it. But to get swept 4 straight, that's embarrassing. If you're a team that was first place overall and all that crap in the regular season, getting swept like that, that's embarrassing. Just pure embarrassing as far as I'm concerned. That's what I think of that. There's nothing else I want to talk about Tampa. I mean, obviously Vasilevsky's the king right now. I think Shesterkin's going to push him for being who's the best goalie in the league. But up until he's dethroned, Vasilevsky's going to be the man.
Right. Well, I mean that series has a lot to say. One thing I do want to say is when the Rangers won in '94, Beth, would you check this? Because I think I'm almost positive. Didn't the Rangers win the President's Trophy? Weren't they the top team in the league when they won?
Oh, I think it was the year before. I think it was the year before that they were the best. And they got beat.
Yeah. So I think they won.
93, I think was, I don't know, maybe Beth can check it now, but I think 93 was the year that they were the top team overall. They might have been the top team overall again in 94, but I know one year they were the top team, and they
lost. I think that was when. Yes, I think you're correct. They did in 91, 92,
something like that.
They lost, but I'm almost positive they won the President's Trophy in '94 and the Stanley Cup. And I want to Beth, if you could double check that.
Beth can check it, or Mr. Rink of Dreams, Barry, where are you on that one? I don't remember for sure, but I know the one year they won the President's Trophy and they ended up getting beat.
So, all right.
So, it's a nice little, feather in your cap when you're the first team overall. But boy, oh boy.
Hey, that said, there's no definition for horse shit league. So
there is now.
We're making it. All right.
Now.
Yes, Vasilevsky was a beast in the last game. Tampa is alive and kicking. Remember, they're playing without Braden Point, and he's probably their most skilled player. So it's something.
He needs to be chopped down a level or two, though. He's a little bit of a bullshit artist out there too.
Yeah, well,
he gets in people's faces, but the league protects guys like him. They've been doing it for about 10 or 15 years, right? But
I don't disagree, and Sidney Crosby's one of them. But
you have to slide that one in, didn't you?
I did.
I'll leave Ovechkin until next year, okay?
All right, let's do this, though. This is a huge topic to talk about, okay? Right. There's so much to be said here. There's a lot to talk about, and I know we're running crazy into time here, but there's a lot to be said about, first of all, Evander Kane.
Oh.
And, I mean, it's time we start talking about how great Connor McDavid is. To me, he's the best player in the world right now. And I've heard other shows, if you think, and I know I asked you this the other night, like watching him and how dynamic he is, his speed, his hands, his intelligence, all of it. I mean, he embarrasses players. But let's start with McDavid. First of all, Kotz, I mean, a lot of people just continue, and you can't avoid the conversation anymore. The comparisons are coming up. He's Bobby Orr-like, he's Mario Lemieux-like, he's Wayne Gretzky-like, with all, the different parts of his game. Now, Bobby Orr was a pioneer in so many ways. Gordie Howe was Mr. Hockey. Wayne Gretzky was the great one. This kid is earning a tag that could possibly have that type of historian in the game. That's how good Connor McDavid is.
I can't disagree with any of that. I mean, us old timers, we're always going to compare our guys and the guys before me to the modern day, Warriors as the modern day Warriors play. I'll put one little caveat in there. Obviously, equipment changes from decade to decade to decade. Okay, but Connor McDavid is like the fastest thing on skates I've ever seen that can handle a puck. That's the difference. This guy is an absolute speed demon that can actually handle the puck at the same time. There's a lot of guys that can skate in every era. Okay, a lot of guys. You're not gonna tell me that Ivan Cornoria, the Roadrunner, wasn't fast. You're not gonna sit there and tell me, that other guys like him were not fast in their day. But the way McDavid explodes with his legs and is still able to handle the puck like he's handling an egg, that really soft hands and all that shit. You know what I mean? I don't think we've ever seen anything like that where you combine the fastest with the soft hands at the same time.
Right.
I mean, I can only think of certain players that in their prime that I watched, like Guy Lafleur was one of them that had a lot of speed but had the soft hands, that I played against. Gilbert Perreault was another one. Okay, I'm going back, and you guys are going to have to look these guys up. But Connor McDavid's speed is a step faster or more. That's the difference. And as a defenseman or anybody that has to play against him, you're definitely praying he goes down to your other partner's side. That's all there is to it. I mean, I make that joke all the time.
You can embarrass players and teams, man.
I mean, he's just so fast, Paulie. That's what it is. And he's able to shift his gears quicker than anybody in the league right now. Like it's not just, okay, it's fast now, but not, guess what, buddy? I'm going to go a little faster now. I'm going to go around.
Right.
Oh, I'm not fast enough yet? Okay, I'll show you how much faster I am. You know what I mean? And making moves at the same time.
Right.
So, it would have been interesting to see how it would have fared back when I played in the 70s. Because I think that we would slow him down, though, because we'd be allowed to. I'd be able to slash the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Think about it. We would be able to slash. I mean, that would be my only recourse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play him one-on-one and go, I'm going to take the body on this guy because he's just damn fast.
Right.
So, but he's incredible. And you know what? I said it to you many times in the past. I've said it this year on the show. He's finally woken up. He's finally, it's not just all about winning scoring titles.
Yeah.
It's about winning in the playoffs, and that team's winning right now. And I think they're going to finish Calgary. Unfortunately, I think we thought Calgary was a winner, even though I took Edmonton in this series. It's going to be an unbelievable series to watch, Colorado and Edmonton. Because if you're watching your TV, don't blink. That's how fast these teams are.
Yeah.
They are the two fastest teams in the league.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you at all. And I think as Connor McDavid continues to come into his own, as you said, because he really is progressing to become that player that everyone is going to talk about. And again, like I said, is going to become a mainstay among the names that we just mentioned, historic names, Hall of Fame names that are just, and I see Connor McDavid going there.
But he needs to win, Paulie. He needs to win. That's
short of
that was my biggest criticism with him and Draisaitl and the rest of the crew at Edmonton.
I know. I agree.
Even right now, you look at in the playoffs right now, the statistics. It's 1-2-3 Edmonton in points leading.
Yeah.
Just like the regular season.
Yep.
But now they're winning.
And Barry and Beth both confirmed the Rangers won in '94 the President's Trophy and went on to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay, they also lost one year when they had the President's.
Yes, and Barry put that in 91-92. So I was right. So
that's what I remembered the most. Well, it's about time. You took your time, Barry.
You're the best, Barry. Thank you. So now the David conversation. We got to talk about Evander Kane. Here's a guy who had bankruptcy problems, home problems, marital problems, problems, on ice problems, off ice problems. He's the leading scorer in the playoffs, goal scorer, I believe, in the playoffs right now. I think he's got 11 goals, 12 goals. Would Beth or Barrett? Can you confirm that for me?
I think he's got 12 because he's.
I mean, here it is. This guy. Nobody wanted this guy, and I know Kotze, you made this. I mean, a lot of guys know this. You're playing with Connor McDavid. I get it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, let's call it what it is. You gambled by taking this man on your team in Edmonton.
Yeah, they
did. What anybody tells me. You can all talk about how great it worked out. Now we understand that. Now I'll give Evander Kane the props now because he's been a choir boy. He's got that little halo around his head now because he realized this was his last stop. And if you can't make it with a guy like Connor McDavid as your centerman, you know what I mean? And he's done the job. I'll give him credit where credit's due. You know, he's gone in there. He shut his mouth. He kept all the outside troubles away. I'll eat my words. You know, it's still all the stuff he did off the ice didn't make him a great person to start with, but he's put that behind him. Sure. And obviously the team's adjusted to him. They like him. He's doing his job. Now, you know the telltale sign will be is how far they go in the playoffs. Like I said, if they win a Stanley Cup, you know what the big thing's going to be? How much are you going to pay him next year? He's playing for the minimum veteran salary, I believe.
Yeah. 500,
so,
right?
You know, he's making a good case for himself about getting paid again, but.
Well, I mean, you know what?
He deserved all the criticism that he deserved that I gave him in the past. No question about it.
That's right there. Sadly, it was 4 years ago yesterday when former Whaler Bobby Sullivan passed away.
Yeah, I could tell you a story about Bobby Sullivan. We played together in Hartford for about a year. He came up. I think he was like one of the best players in the AHL the year before with Binghamton. But people don't know my relation with Bobby Sullivan goes way back further than that. My very first trip to the United States of America to try out for a professional team was the Toledo Gold Diggers.
Yeah.
I checked into my hotel, downtown Toledo, was in my room, midnight, just the night before, first day of training camp, passes, and in comes Bobby Sullivan into my room. He played for Toledo the year before when they won the Turner Cup.
Right.
That was my first introduction to Bobby Sullivan. He liked a little party. He liked to go out. And I rode to the rink every day with him during training camp. And I got to know Bobby really well. And listen, he went through some tough times and stuff like that, partying too much and all that stuff. But then he turned his life around. He ended up making the NHL, like I said, when I was in Hartford. And then I think he was in Germany where he did really well in the European League there, the German League, and opened a bar. But he died suddenly, 4 years ago. And I was communicating with him back and forth on Facebook. I always liked Sully. Sully was a good player, had a lot of talent, but he didn't know when to stop partying until it got a little too late in his career, basically. Yeah. That's what happened, like why he didn't go longer in the NHL. The talent was always there. The man could skate, the man could handle the puck, put the puck in the net. But up till he came to Hartford, he had trouble with the nightlife and stuff like that. And when he passed away, I was kind of shocked because I was talking to him all the time, periodically through the messenger on Facebook, and then I got notified that he passed away 4 years ago.
Wow. Good story, too.
But, like I said, my first introduction to him, I'm sitting in this hotel room. I'm 19 years old. I'm in fucking Toledo, Ohio. I've never been anywhere like that in my life.
Right.
Where's my roommate? My roommate didn't show up till well after midnight that night. And it was Bobby Sullivan. He ended up getting traded that year too. He didn't stay with our team that year in Toledo either.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
It's a sad story in the end.
Yeah. Beth confirmed 12 goals. 12 goals.
Yeah, he got the empty netter last night. I was watching. I stayed up to watch it, Paulie.
I mean, a lot to be said, and I can appreciate, a lot of, the fact, Edmonton took a chance on this guy, like you said.
Oh, the talent's always been there.
Yeah, the guy's a good team guy when it comes to sticking up for players. A guy can throw with,
But it was a disruptor in the dressing room too.
Right.
Up until this.
Yeah. So
the talent was always there.
A lot of times, guys can't handle the money, can't handle the fame, can't handle that end of it. So, with that being said, though, I mean it's a good story, and hopefully this changes his dynamic and he understands. And I'm sure he's learned a lot, and I hope he's learned a lot. But what a good story! I mean, here he is. Nobody wanted him. Everybody was afraid of him. He's been up and down the hole, and here he is. He's leading the playoffs in goals. And again, I mean, it's a great point. He is playing with the greatest player in the world, with Connor McDavid. So, like you said, I mean, shit. If it was me, I'm going to go to the net because good things are going to happen when Connor McDavid's there. I'm just going to pick up the garbage and score enough goals to be a hero. To be honest with you,
it's now 3-0 Colorado.
3-0 Colorado. Just pick up the trash, and
listen, if I was able to even keep up within 1/8 of Connor McDavid on the ice, and I was a swinger, I just go where he ain't. Because I know the puck's going to get to me sooner or later.
Go to the opposite side.
Wherever the hell he is, go somewhere totally opposite.
Yeah. Just skate around the net to the opposite side.
Until he gets it to you.
But that was quite the game last night, speaking of
which. It was wild. It was 3-0. Edmonton was great, blah, blah, blah. They took some really stupid penalties. Like Nurse took, I think, one really bad one, and then there was another one. And Calgary, they capitalized on a couple of dumb plays by Edmonton. And then about halfway through the third, I was almost asleep. It was 3-2. And Anderson from Calgary thumps it in from like 20 feet inside his own blue line. And the camera couldn't even catch up with it. That's how fluky this goal was.
Yeah.
It just totally muffed it.
Both goaltenders last night. I mean,
Markstrom's struggled.
I think Markstrom's been. We'll talk about it. Markstrom's been. I hate to say it, it's been awful in this series. He's just been god awful. But he lets up a shitty early. I mean, I don't think there was 25 seconds played in that game.
21 seconds was the fastest goal in Edmonton history in a playoff.
And bang bang, it's in the net because Markstrom's just get a brain fart, bad focus, not really doing what he should be doing. There's a bad goal there. And then Smitty lets up a really bad goal. Like you said, I mean, that's 20 foot inside the blue line. I don't know, man. I don't know. The goaltending in this series has been a lot to be desired, but I think
when you think about it, though, Paul, most of the goaltending problems are coming from the goaltenders are trying to handle the puck.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Don't handle the puck. Don't stay in the net.
I got to tell you that I've watched Markstrom throughout this series, and I've been concerned because I'm like, even when he's making saves, he's letting up rebounds, and he doesn't look confident to me. He doesn't look like he's making it, like he's sharp, like his concentration is there. And I mean, we all know, God, the first game was 9-6. There's been heavy scoring in here, and I get it, but I just feel like Calgary has had chances to win, and I think not last night, the night before, Calgary was up 2-0, and that Markstrom's just not as sharp as he could be. The goaltender, and you, Chris, you say this all the time. The goaltender is going to win in the playoffs.
Well, Paulie, I got to interrupt you because you and I want to talk exactly about what you're going to. Every night that you play in the playoffs, okay, like even this year you watch it, your top player is not going to be the best player on the ice all the time. When I say forwards-wise, defenseman-wise.
Right.
They're not going to be the best player every night.
Right.
Connor McDavid had an average night last night. Everybody else did it for them last night. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, this guy, that guy. Your best player consistently has to be your goaltender.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't care if it goes 4 games. I don't care if it goes 5 games, 6 games, 7. Consistent guy has to be the best player, needs to be your goalie.
Goaltender, yeah.
And that's how you win playoff series.
Yep.
Because the Rangers are a perfect example. We've watched the Rangers where their top guns have been absolutely atrocious more than once throughout the playoffs so far.
Right.
And yet, Shesterkin, he was atrocious a couple times in Pittsburgh. But since then, who's been the consistently best player for the Rangers since they won the last 3 games in Pittsburgh?
Shesterkin.
You can't name a player that has been. It's Shesterkin.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky, he had his hands full with Toronto. They got a couple of breaks there that they shouldn't have got to win that series, but how did he play against Florida?
Right.
Did Stamkos score every night? You know what I mean? Did Kucherov score? But who was the guy in net that got the 2 shutouts out of the 4 against? Right. You know what I'm trying to say? Your goaltender's got to be the guy.
Right.
And then everybody else feeds from there. That's where you get that second-hand scoring, the third-hand scoring, when your top guns are down in the dumps for a game. Where your goalie has to be the guy, period.
Barry, the China Wall. He knows all about the goaltender.
Well, he knows I'm right.
No, I couldn't disagree. I couldn't agree more, man. I can't disagree with that at all. It's a known fact.
If your goalie plays shit 3 times in a 7-game series,
you're gonna lose.
Because that one time he's gonna play good, you might lose that game.
Yeah, exactly. And goaltenders need to steal a game here and there. Absolutely. And that's exactly what Vasilevsky did against the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers, had almost 50 shots on goal that day. They doubled the shots. Vasilevsky was there, and he stole that game. And that's what you need in a playoff series. You need that. I'm pretty sure we did everything. Obviously, the Avs and the Blues. Looks like the Avs are going to close this thing out tonight. Looks like they're up 3-0 at this point. The Blues were my dark horse for a bit. So
how are we doing on our brackets
series? Huh?
How are we doing on our brackets for the second round? You had Tampa.
I had Tampa. Yeah, I think I'm going to lose.
You might lose 2.
No, I'm going to lose 1.
You had Calgary.
That's the one I'm going to lose.
And you had Carolina.
Well, we don't know if I'm going to lose.
You might lose 2, though.
I might lose 2.
Well, just letting you know.
I might lose 2.
All right.
But you lost with Tampa.
That's all I lost so far. I might lose 2 with the Carolina Ranger one, but I got Colorado.
Okay. I have the Flames and I have Colorado, but you lost in the first round. So we would still be even.
Doesn't matter. We're in a set. Nobody cares what the first round is.
I'm going for totals. All right.
Totals.
Good. Well,
totals. Tell that to your bookie.
We're going totals. All right. I guess the last thing we have here. We're on an hour, so we're gonna probably do another 30 minutes. I would think. We are the best because we have. I can't see anymore.
You need glasses. You're getting old.
I know.
Here, hold on a second. Here. There you go.
I have some. All right. We got to talk to your Rangers. We'll go back and forth with the Avalanche and the Blues. I will say this though: the Blues were my dark horse for a lot of different reasons. People can say what they want to say, but I think it's different if the Blues got a little, if they got a break here and there, and maybe goaltending. But the Avs are really a team that you got to be scared, and they're really making their way. So they were my dark horse, but doesn't look good. I think Calgary is the big disappointment here.
I agree with you, but again, this series is over. This one here that's on tonight, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Calgary one, there's still life left. If they win that game, pressure goes back to Edmonton. But
the next game is
the next game's in Calgary.
Okay. Yes, you're right.
That's because I got to get up in the morning, so I stay up late to watch it.
You're right. You're right.
Here's my theory on Colorado. Okay, and you're gonna I think you're gonna understand this because this is Tampa Bay of 6 years ago. Colorado's been on the cusp for about 5-6 years. This is the team. This is the next team. This is the next team. And they've had failure after failure after failure. Just like Tampa did before they started winning their Stanley Cups. A lot of people had Tampa winning Stanley Cups 5-6 years ago, Paul, not last 3 years. You know what I mean? And they failed. I think this is a team that's just like the Tampa Bay Lightning of 3 years ago. They're a talented team. They're a fast team. They got good goaltending. They got solid scoring all the way around, and they're fast as hell. I think their team speed is actually faster than the Edmonton Oilers' team speed, although Connor McDavid might be faster. They're a team that's going to be tough to beat, you know. And if it's Tampa they got to play, I'm going to take Colorado. Only because I want to prove you wrong. The Tampa can't win 3 in a row. But I think Colorado's a very, very tough team right now. They're proving it. I mean, I agree with you. I thought St. Louis would give them a little bit more of a fight. Other than that one game, Paul, they haven't given much of a fight at all.
Yeah. I know in the end, you want to prove me wrong.
Well, and you don't?
I do. I mean, I do.
Works both ways, big boy.
I got to be honest with you. Like, if I look at, and I've done this, and it bothers me, but I've done it. So I do think if the Rangers come out of the Carolina series, I think the Rangers are a good matchup for Tampa Bay.
I do too. I think
the Rangers have the offensive prowess, and they play a similar type of game. I think the problem here is I think Tampa has much more experience on this end of it than the Rangers do when it comes to, you look at Vasilevsky, you look at Shesterkin. Shesterkin's brand new. He's 3 years in the league. Yes, he's the best goalie, had the best goal against average, the whole 9 yards. But Vasilevsky's been there, game in, game out, series in, series out. This is the third attempt to win a Stanley Cup, so it's not like they don't get it. You look at Maroon; he's on the cusp.
I can't argue with you that.
Right in his fourth. You look at Stamkos. You look at the players on that side, and you got to scratch your head because when it comes to paper, it's scary. Now, like you said, they got to play, and anything can happen. I think the Rangers are a great matchup for Tampa Bay. Do they come out of that series? I don't know. I can cross my hands and pray to God because I'm a big Ranger fan and I would love to see it. But if I'm looking at it realistically and I had to bet my livelihood on it and I had to put the house on it, I hate to say it, but I'm probably going Tampa Bay. Now, with that being said, I think you're right. I think Colorado has a lot to offer in a Stanley Cup playoff against Tampa. So they could stop 3 feet. I think the road is going to be much more difficult now than it's ever been for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Because even if Carolina gets through the Rangers, they'll show how resilient they are as well. And I think the stifling play of the forecheck would do the same thing that they did to the Rangers in the first couple of games. So I don't know, man. I just think if I was a betting man on paper, Tampa's got the Stanley Cup to me. If I'm being honest.
No, you got a lot of points there that people can't disagree with. But I'm besides me wanting Tampa Bay to lose to prove it to you, I think right now I'm looking at the Stanley Cup champions on the ice right there, the Colorado Avalanche. That's what I think I'm looking at. I think I'm looking at the Stanley Cup champions right now.
I hope you're wrong. I hope the Rangers
for all the reasons you just mentioned about Tampa. Okay, they match up Tampa everywhere.
Wow, not on paper they don't.
Their forwards are better, I think, overall.
Yeah, but how many of them got pedigree? How many of them have won?
I don't care about pedigree. What does pedigree mean anymore? Come on.
I think it means a little bit, Cots, in the playoffs.
Well, is it not time? How did Tampa win their Stanley Cup? They were supposed to win it 5-6 years ago. They sucked 2 years in a row. Then all of a sudden they get a shortened season, they get to win one. Then they get a bubble season, they win one. Now they're going to win a legitimate one, according to you, and I'm not arguing against that, but you're asking me for my opinion.
Right, I get it.
These teams don't get to play each other 4 times a year, 3 times a year. Tampa and Colorado and all that. Remember that.
Let's talk New York Rangers hockey, man.
I got to get my Colorado story in now. They're going to be trouble for no matter who comes out of the East.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think they're a layup. I don't think they're a layup at all. I think they're the real deal. There's no doubt about it. Nobody's going to walk through the Colorado
unless Edmonton shocks them.
I think that's going to be fun to watch. I'm pretty excited about that, if I'm being honest. That's going to be an exciting series.
You're almost in the old timers club now. You better make sure we put some Visine in our eyes when we watch that screen, because it's going to be like this.
It's all good stuff, man.
It's going to be. Let's talk Rangers. Okay, where do we start with the Rangers? Where do we start?
I mean,
let's start with the resilience of this team.
Let's start with two different teams I think we've seen, from a team that started in Carolina to the team that came to the Madison Square Garden, from the team that almost looked outclassed, outplayed, outcoached, outmanaged, outworked, out-goaltended, out everything in Carolina, to the total opposite, where I thought that they outworked, outclassed, outcoached Carolina in Madison Square Garden. And I will go on record and say that I was frustrated, and I thought the Rangers were frustrated with the forecheck and didn't have an answer for it. And the only answer would be if the Rangers find ways to execute in the advantage and make Carolina play from behind, it would change the game. The bottom line is what I saw was the first 2 games, the Rangers tried to play Carolina style of hockey and were not successful. And they switched it to Madison Square Garden and made Carolina conform and play more of the New York Rangers style of hockey.
Well, first, I'm going to disagree with you in both games in Carolina. I would agree with you on the second game. Remember, Kotsopoulos' major blunder in missing an empty net in a game where the Rangers should have won that game. Probably would have won that game if they had a do-over. Remember, Carolina had to score in less than 2 minutes to go to tie that game up. Okay?
Yep.
So Rangers were outplaying Carolina technically for 2/3 of that period. Kind of went into a shell in the third, but we're still up 1-0 when Kotsopoulos missed an empty net with 5 minutes, 8 minutes to go in the game. Okay? So I'll disagree with you on the 2 games there. The second game, I got you're spot on that. Carolina put the boots to them, which they've done to a lot of teams. Now, coming home to Madison Square Garden, you got to remember now who gets the last change, Paulie. Home team gets the last change on the ice, so they get to pick who starts the game. They get to pick who starts each period. To set the tone. And I thought the Rangers set the tone pretty good in Game 3, but I thought they even set the tone even better last night or yesterday afternoon or whatever time it was, by going out there and being aggressive with them, okay? And I do agree with you. Carolina has a little trouble playing from behind. They do. But we're still we're at a 2-2 series right now where most people are like going, wow, Rangers are in it. They should be up 3-1, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
But everybody can take their Carolina story, shove it up their ass. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Now the pressure's on Carolina going back to Game 5. They're going to get the last change. They're going to do all this. It's up to the Ranger players now, Paul. Nothing else needs to be said here. They showed coaches, scouts, video coaches, everybody else showed them how to beat Carolina the last 2 games.
Right.
They went out and performed it. If you don't know that by now, by going to Carolina and understanding that when you play this 5th game, then I can't help you.
Yeah.
I can't help you anymore. You're getting the goaltending you need, okay? You're getting the scoring opportunities that you need, although there's some guys that really need to, I would say, change their game a little bit, and that includes Panarin right now.
Oh.
Like
god-awful.
The guy is so skilled, so talented. I don't think he understands in the playoffs that they're going to follow you and check you a little closer, and they're not going to allow you to do the stuff that you do because you are the number one.
Simplify his game.
Exactly. He's got to adjust and stop making these shitty passes of his.
Yeah, I don't.
They are shit. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Simplify his game.
He's making more shit passes than any player on the ice.
And right I tell you,
he's not taking a shot. He's not taking a shot when he's supposed to. But he's not the only one. I watched Lafreniere give up a great shot in the first game at home. And I watched.
You know what?
They're getting too addicted to passing up the shots.
A couple of things I want to talk about. A couple of points I want to bring up. So we'll get back to Panarin because I want to talk about this because I had brought this up to you before we got on.
Well, it's 3-1 now.
Okay. So looks like St. Louis is trying to make.
They scored on the power play with 4 minutes to go, 4.5 minutes to go in the second.
In the second. So there's still a little left in the second and the whole third period. Hopefully it gets interesting. More importantly, though, Kotz, there's something I do want to talk about. I want to talk about Sunday night's game. And a lot of people might have a lot to say. And it's just some of the things that I see. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know we talked about this a little bit, but here's where some of the things concern me about this team, okay? We watched Shesterkin go through a process, I think, in the Pittsburgh series, okay?
Yeah.
Where Shesterkin, it looked like mentally was struggling inside his game. And Kotz, you're a professional athlete, so you can probably talk more about what the mindset is and concentration and the absolute of a certain part of preparation and how it is to play this game. But for me, a guy who's an analysis, a guy who looks at things, a guy who watches very deep, I have a little bit more of a coach's mentality, but I look at Shesterkin and I watched him progressively come through that Pittsburgh series because there was times you can't deny the man was shaky. He was doubtful in his play. And you can tell when a player is doubtful inside of their play. He came out of that. And here he is. We're game 4 into the Kane series, and it looks like his concentration's there, his preparation's there, his mindset's there. He made some really good saves. He's come back. He's back to Shesterkin-like play. There's a couple of things I want to talk about in Game 3. And it might be minor, but I think it's important to talk about. There's 2.5, 3 minutes left in the game. Carolina pulls the goaltender. This is a concern to me. And a lot of people might not notice this or think about it, but this bothers me. Chris Kreider's coming up the ice. The goaltender's pulled. He breaks the blue line. Doesn't bury the puck. A lot of people are like, I just missed it, whatever the case may be is. For me, Kotz, there's a mental part of this game that people are not seeing that are missing. That's an absolute ending to this game. We're moving on to Game 4. It's done. That's the seal. He fails to score a goal. He fails to score inside the empty net. The play comes back. To me, that's lack of decent concentration. And it scares me in the ability to perform in the clutch, if I'm being honest.
Well, look, you and I talked about it, and I'll say what I said to you earlier. He panicked. He panicked a little bit. He's a big body. Not many guys are going to catch him from behind, but I did notice the player for Carolina starting to close in on him. So he felt the heat a little bit. He panicked. But being a big body that you are, he should have spread his body out, the legs apart, and forced this guy to make a wide right around him or force this guy to go wide left. That was the only way that guy was going to stop me from going any closer to the net. Yeah. And that wouldn't have happened if Carter did that. He panicked a little bit, fired it, and he wasn't ready to fire it at the time. Right. And you're right. I mean, we're talking about. I think at the time there was probably close to 2 minutes or a minute and a half to something like that left in the game still, and he missed the net. And they still had an opportunity to tie the game. So you're right. That's a clutch moment there, but I believe he panicked a little bit. That's just my opinion. Didn't use his body well enough to get closer. If you're not sure, you got to get closer. That's all there is to it.
Right.
But this seems to be a problem with some guys. Like, again, I'm going to go back to game one. If somehow the Rangers do not win this series, you're going to go back and look at Kaapo Kakko missing from 10 feet to the left of the net. Wide open net, Paulie, that would have sealed the game, as you call it.
Right.
2-0. Game would have been over. Carolina does not make the comeback. Now, that's another clutch situation. When you have an opportunity that's gifted to you on a silver plate like that, you got to bury it.
Yeah.
No excuse.
I agree.
Kreider, let's face it, we love the guy. The guy had a great season. He's still one of the big leaders on the team. You know, he's up and down throughout the playoffs. He hasn't been consistent. Well, I'll say that, but he's been good. On average, he's been decent. You know, for him to say that he just missed it, I'm sure he knows what he did. He knows he missed it. He knows he didn't come through there. But they won the game, so you move on, Paulie. Now, sure. I'm going to get to the Shesterkin part that you were talking about. Here's the difference between a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, and 22-year-old compared to a 25, 26-year-old. I believe Shesterkin's 25 or
25. Yeah.
His confidence was shot there in Pittsburgh. And had he been a 20-year-old, 21, 22-year-old, I'm sure the coaching staff would have yanked him for the next game.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, hey, it's your first time in the playoffs, you're a young kid, blah, blah, blah. But he's played in some, maybe not NHL standard games, but some playoff games in the KHL. And as a coach, you realize that he's a 25-year-old. He's got some experience of something, Paulie. Maybe not NHL, but something.
No.
And if your confidence is shot like that, the best thing a coach can do is put you right back in the next game. And he's performed since then.
Yeah.
He's been able to shake it off. You know, and I think it has a lot to do with his age. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's played pro hockey a lot longer than he's played his time with the Rangers.
Sure.
In other words, he's been in that situation before, maybe in a different league, where, for example, when Patrick Roy, and I call him Roy, not Roy, because it's spelled Roy, when he won the Stanley Cup in 1986 as a rookie and all that shit, you know what I mean? And he never really had a bad game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Had he had a couple of clunkers, I'm sure they would have yanked his ass and put somebody else in. You know what I mean? That's the difference between a 20, 21-year-old and a 25, 26-year-old. Shesterkin's been able to regroup, rethink, and get back to what he does best, is play positional goaltending. He may not be as solid as Vasilevsky when it comes to everything else because of the size difference, but nobody positions himself better than Shesterkin right now in that net because he's not a large goalie. He has to be in the right spot. And he's very flexible. So I give him a lot of credit for bouncing back, but I also give a lot of credit to the coaching staff for staying with him and giving him the confidence. There's nothing better. I guess I played some games in my day. I remember when I first got traded to Toronto. Okay? First of all, I was out of shape, so I didn't start right away. I got in shape, got to the lightest I ever could be. In my first 4 or 5 games of them, I was horseshitly. Okay? I was trying so hard to impress them that I was just terrible.
Wow.
We went on a road trip. I didn't play one game on that road trip. First time in my career. Coach grabbed me, Dan Maloney, he said to me, he said, listen, we know you're better than this, but right now I just want you to sit back, work on improving everything else and getting in shape and all that stuff. I went on it was a 3-4 game road trip out west. I didn't play one game. I got bagged every day. And it was the best thing he ever did to me. Because when I came back from that, I started playing the hockey that I knew I could play. And by the end of that year, he counted on me as much as he counted on Boreas Salmon, which is an honor to say.
Right.
But at the time, I was struggling. So he pulled me. So there's 2 ways you can think about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think Gallant did the right thing in putting him back in. With me, it was different. I needed the break. I needed the break big time because no matter if I went left, the puck went right. If I went right, the puck went left. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Guys were shooting the puck from behind the net. It was hitting me in the ass and going in the net.
Right.
I go down to block, break up a 2-on-1. It hits my stick, goes in the net. That's how bad it was for me.
Right.
Everybody's like, what the fuck did they trade for this guy for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just did that, So that was a situation where the coach pulling me was a good thing. But you can do that with defense because you got 6 or 7 in a row, but you only got 2 goaltenders.
Yeah.
So it's a touchy situation. I think Gallant did the right thing, and Shesterkin has rebounded very well, and I'm hoping he continues. Because
I'm very impressed with Gallant.
If he continues with this Shesterkin, they got a shot.
Well, I got to tell you that, we talked about it. I still don't like the formula, but again, I'm not the alchemist, so the formula seems to work. And I want to talk about the New York Rangers game and their success that we've seen throughout the year with them. There's been a lot of games, and we talked about this.
I'm listening. I'm going to refill.
Yeah. I think the crazy part of all of this is that if we sat down and we discussed statistics that you seem to think don't mean crap in the playoffs, there's a lot to be counted for here because I think the Rangers are like number 1 or number 2 in come from behind victories throughout the year. This team won game after game after game. And I think they had 25 or 27, 23 to 27 victories come from behind. It's not the formula that any chemist wants to work with. It's the last thing you want to do is consistently come from behind. It also shows that the team maybe is not playing a complete 60 minutes, but they've been successful. And I guess the part that you can take out of that, again, if you're an alchemist, there's an ingredient there that you got to take out of that and say, this team is fucking resilient. They found a way to maybe not play the entire game at 100%, but still be so resilient, so rope-a-dope, so capable in the ability to come back and win games. It's dumbfounding to think not only did they do it throughout the year, they came back from a 3-1 deficit from a pretty decent Penguins hockey club. Okay?
Yep.
Now they go down 2-0 against Carolina. They bounce back to even again. So it's part of who they've been the entire year. I don't like the formula. I didn't make the formula. I would like to write it differently. But in the end, it has worked consistently for them throughout the year.
Well,
there.
You can't perfection my ass. That's never going to happen.
Right.
I don't give a fuck who you are, what team you are. Rangers. I realized this the other day watching yesterday's game. It's something that was right there playing in front of us all year that we never thought about until I told you last night after the game. I talked to you last night. This team all year has been able to play one super period, one average period, one shitty period, and still win.
Right.
What does that tell you? Your word, resilient. That's their MO, Paulie. This is how they're going to win.
Right.
They're not going
to
play 3 great periods in a row over and over again consistently like you want them to be. It's just not the way they are. What they count on is scoring at the right time, making the defensive play at the right time, and having the consistent goaltender back there to keep them in a game, ahead in a game, or close enough to get back in a game. And that's how they've done it all year. Yeah. So it'd be a perfect world. I think Gerard Gallant probably had a few more hairs on his head if he could wake up one morning and have his team play 60 minutes strong and they win every face-off and score 8 goals on a power play and, kill this and kill that and have your top guys playing every night. It's not going to happen. They proved that all year, and yet they were still 4th in the East. They were one game short of tying the best record a New York Ranger team ever had.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting that. And I think the other thing I want to mention, you're right. You come back home, you're down 2-0. You can't make a mistake here. You can't lose any of these games at home.
Yeah.
You go down 3-1. Like in the second round, you think you're going to come back and do it again?
No.
It's possible, but probably more improbable. So they came back. They won both games. But I think it had a lot to do, honestly, with how that first game in their head went. They shut down Carolina for 2 full periods. Carolina made a big push in that third. We all know that. They were all over the Rangers. Rangers looked like crap. And it still took Carolina until what? Last 2 minutes of the third period to tie the game? That gave them, they probably got really mad at themselves, but they also gave them a little bit of like, boys, we can beat these guys.
Right.
That kind of confidence, even though they came up with a bit of a clunker the next game, but in their heads, they knew it. So I don't expect the Rangers MO to change. I'd love to see a 60-minute effort one night where they win 6-0. They go 3 for 3 on the power play. And Zibanejad wins 29 out of 29 faceoffs. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants. You know what I mean? And you said about you're right. I'm still not a big believer in the statistics. I know you have to have the puck to score and all that stuff. And if you keep losing faceoffs, people keep mentioning that to me. But I'm like, did anybody look at the stats over the last 2 games at home? Did the Rangers win more faceoffs than Carolina? They didn't do it, did they? And yet they won the game. So I'm still one of those with the stats, eh?
Yes.
Like face-off wins and all that shit.
So, Chris,
defend at the right time, win the face-off at the right time. That's how I work it. Win them.
Well, they did score the power play goal at home the right time in both games. So
there you go.
Yeah. And, again, I really feel like this team needs to play with a lead against Carolina. They need to capitalize. He made some really good points. I think in Game 2, the frustration in Game 2 was they had a ton of power play opportunities that they didn't capitalize on.
Exactly.
And if they make Carolina play from behind, I think the Rangers are – I think they win. I think they win. I think they win undoubtedly, especially the way Shesterkin's been playing goal. Score and capitalize on those opportunities that you get because Carolina is such a stifling forechecking team. So when you get that opportunity to get the power play, you got to bury it. And they did do that last night and then 2 games. I was going to ask you. You did Brish. I want to talk about the face-offs because it has been such a huge topic. They've been. I mean, they were embarrassed against Pittsburgh, and
Won the series.
Even more so against Carolina. It's you seem to have the approach. You don't put a ton of stock into it, but there's a couple things I want to talk about that I think a lot of people might not know. And if you do, I don't mean to insult you, but I want to inform a lot of people about certain rules that have changed throughout the years. And I didn't know this until recently. So when you talk about face-offs, so let's say an icing play, I didn't know this until recently.
The other side.
That the team that committed the opposite team that didn't commit the foul of icing gets to pick what side.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until recently. Now you know that the home team, the visiting team has to put their stick down in the face-off dot first. But just recently, and I think it's only the last 2 years. I think it started last year. It's not that. I don't know how long that's been into play, but the other team gets to pick which side of the ice they want to draw. Yeah. That's pretty important because that's putting the right players on at the right time, and I think that's why it's more important. The draws are more important now than ever before. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I think it's a stupid fucking rule. How's that? It's another one of these bullshit rules that they tried to improve the scoring in the game, and that fit. Okay, as far as I'm concerned. So
right.
No, listen. We're going to talk about face-off, man. Like we're talking about MVPs. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Your goal is to try and win face-offs. I'm not against that, but I don't put the importance on it like everybody else does, because if that was the case, I don't know how many times I can go through the records of games where some guy won 95% of his face-offs. I know I'm repeating myself, but he lost the one that counted, and they lost the game. So what are you telling that? Did you do your job or did you not do your job?
Right.
So it's a win face-offs at the right time. That I agree with.
Right.
But to tell me you went 19 out of 20 or 10 out of 12, and the two that you lost cost goals, that you had a fucking great percentage, really?
Right.
What about the two that they scored on you? What are you going to tell me about that as a player?
Right.
Then people never bring that shit up. How come? Why do they not bring that up? Why does the TV people and their brilliant statisticians ever bring that up? Why don't the teams bring that up? Why isn't there a stat that said this guy took 6,000 faceoffs this year, he won 5,500, but he lost 40 of them that cost him games? Nobody brings that shit up.
Right.
That's what I want. I want my guy to win a faceoff when it counts.
Right.
The chips are down. When I'm on the ice, like when I was on the ice with Boreas saw me in Toronto in the playoffs, and we were beating St. Louis, and we were beating Detroit and all that shit, I was out there in the last few minutes to win games. I want my guy to win then. I don't care what you did a period ago, 2 periods ago. I want you to win then.
Yeah.
You're tied 1-1 with 5 minutes to go, and you got a power play. Win that one. Don't win the power play one when you're up by 4. It means nothing to me. So you're never going to convince me with the stats shit, Paulie. It's never going to happen with me.
Gotcha.
I don't care. I'll be that one guy on an island where everybody else is pointing fingers at me. Look at him. He's still on an island by himself. I'm going to be that guy. I could care less. Oh, you got 8 shots tonight. Did you score?
Right.
Oh, you got 1 shot and you scored. Oh, okay.
So, Todd, Game 5 tomorrow night in Carolina. Set the stage here.
Well, they're gonna have to withstand obviously the hullabaloo with the crowd in Carolina because they're pretty boisterous and all that shit. They got that big horn. You can't panic right off the bat. I would probably start the games the way they started the last 2. Whoever they started in the first game at home, the second game, and I'll put those guys out right away. And I'd go right at him. I'd tell the players, hey, go right at him. Fuck the crowd. Don't worry about the crowd. You've been here and done this before. Make them like you said all throughout the show today. Make them play your game for once. You know what I mean? Not for once, but you know what I mean. Try to get them to play your way. Don't let them play their way. And the only way you're going to do that is A, take the body, B, dump and chase. You can't carry the puck across the line with these guys. Yeah. They are the best team at standing up at the blue line. They do that really well, Carolina. So how do you get in on them? You dump the puck in. Put your shot on goal. Keep your shot. Do me a favor though. Keep the shots low, so he has to kick it out instead of grab it.
Yeah. You got to move your feet. You got to move your feet against this team. You got to win the small battles. It's the small battles. It's the little things. The devil's in the details here. With
one last thing. Let Shesterkin see the puck. They did a good job boxing out.
Yep.
Even though it looked like Carolina was all over him at times, but as long as he can see the puck, he's going to make the save.
Sure.
It's when a body gets in front of him is when you get in trouble.
Yeah, I still think the Rangers need to keep that game where, like you said, you got to do the little things in playoff hockey, especially against a team who has such a tenacious forecheck. They're well coached. They're a good team. They got a lot of bodies that are willing to participate and work hard. So you got to outwork them. And again, like I said, I think keys here is get these players in the box, make Domi do stupid shit, make these guys do stupid things, get them in the box, and then capitalize on the power play. And once the Rangers get the lead against Carolina, it forces Carolina's game to change a little bit. And that helps the Rangers move the puck. Now, again, you're on the away, so you got to put your stick down first. You get the last, you get the first. You got to worry about the change. There's a side to that. Now, Carolina's undefeated at home throughout the playoffs, which again, statistics mean nothing. The Rangers have got to go in with the mindset of making Carolina play more of their game. And how are they going to do that? They have to outwork them down low. They have to outwork this team. They're not easy to outwork, but I think if you win the small battles, they're a bigger team. The Rangers are a bigger team. And I think the Lafreniere line is key in this series because when you take the top two lines out, you take Aho out, you take Zibanejad out, you look at Lafreniere, you look at that third line, that line has created chances. Why? Because you're facing the third set of defensemen. You're facing the third line. The Rangers' kid line is better than Carolina's third line. And they're the ones that are making Carolina take penalties, that are working harder. And that's key to get the big guys on the power play. And you got to score in the power play in this series. I think it's huge because if Carolina is coming back from behind, it changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Yeah, they got to take the shot when the opportunity arises. Stop the cute shit. And the other thing I noticed, like when Carolina does make their big pushes throughout like certain times in a period, Rangers sometimes get the puck while they're getting scrambly there, and their hesitation to dump it out costs them.
Yeah,
hesitation, dump it.
Dump
they
it.
hesitate too much. I've seen that.
Yep.
There's been a big push by Carolina, and they've got the puck in the Rangers zone probably like on a cycling for at least a minute and a half. There's at least 2 or 3 times the Rangers have a shot at the puck, and they hesitate to do what they're going to do with it, whether it's a pass, off the boards, or dump it. You can't. You have to make that decision quicker than you've been doing it. I've seen Andre Miller like fan on passes over and over again. He does that all the time. No offense, but he does. He's looking for play, and the puck's still here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
That's why Carolina is really good at cycling that puck and causing all that pressure because your indecision. Paulie, the game is so quick. It was quick in my day. It's quicker now. Right? You got to make that A or B decision faster than you've ever had before.
You got to know what you're going to do before you do it, actually, to be honest.
Well, yeah. You have to have, like, that's the foresight of the great players. They see, in that split second, they see 1, 2, 3 opportunities of what they can do. And they got to make that in less than a second.
Yeah. Like I said, you have to have the decision made before the play gets made.
And the great clutch players make those decisions right almost every time.
Yeah. Yep. So I got the last thing I want to comment about here, and then we'll close it out, is I got to tell you, I'm very impressed. I really like the way Gallant is by far probably one of my favorite coaches the Rangers have had in a long time. And I'm going to tell you why.
He's not in the Uncle Vinny group?
No, he's definitely not.
Not yet.
He's not spiteful. He's not spiteful. And that's my biggest thing with Tortorella. I felt like he was very spiteful. But anyway, Gallant makes really good decisions inside the game that I really like. And what I mean by that is the last 2 games I've watched small, subtle, little line changes that, might put Ryan Reeves on the second line for 25, 30 seconds, maybe less, 15, 20 seconds, where he's getting in on the forecheck, making a statement, taking a body, where Hedl moves up, where guys
he did that in the first game at home. He changed the lines in the middle of the game.
I really like that movement for a lot of different reasons. And it's showing more and more why Gallant is where they are with this team. It's a very young team still. Yeah. But I have to tell you, not only am I impressed with that, I love, for the first time in a long time, even with Tortorella, AV, Quint, we kept saying year after year, this team's got to get tougher. Why isn't he playing Tanner Glass? Why isn't he playing Bugard? Why isn't he playing this guy? Why isn't he playing that guy? Why are we not playing the guy that needs to play? Ryan Reeves is out there, hasn't really had to drop the gloves all season long. He's a statement player. He'll grab a guy, he'll check a guy, put a guy on his ass, and I got to tell you, he actually plays the game pretty good. It's not like he's a detriment on the ice where it's like, oh my God, he plays, he plays smart, he plays his position. I think Ryan Reeves' biggest thing is he runs out of air a little bit quicker than most guys. But at the end of the day, to watch Reeves, I've seen Reeves on the line with Zibanejad and Kreider. Get in there a little bit, even if it's 15, 20 seconds, get in on the forecheck. Go make a quick change out for Bertrano. But it's those little things that I find that are very important in a series like this. And Reeves made a statement in the last game. So did Chua.
There's 2 things I'm going to finish it up with. You're talking about Gallant, okay? Listen, I played against that guy for a long time. He was a hard-nosed, honest hockey player. Tough as fucking nails. Didn't take no shit from nobody. Played bigger than his size was. He was not a really big guy, although he's put on a few pounds like all of us have these days.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he was not a monstrous guy. He had ability. I think he scored 37 goals one year or something like that, close to 40. And I think he coaches similar to how he played. He just expects you to give an honest, hard-nosed effort. And if you do that for him, you're not going to have a problem with him. Being able to, I've always said, your great coaches should be able to adjust as the game's going, not after the game, not coming up for the next game.
Right.
I believe that in any sport, not just hockey. Any sport.
Make the adjustment in the game.
Yeah, the good ones will know what to do in the middle of a game, middle of a first period, second, third, overtime, whatever. Now, much to your chagrin, there is a little John Tortorella in Gerard Gallant. Because I don't know if you read or heard or talked. In the middle of the third period last night, he was down the bench telling his fucking forwards, like, hey, quit fucking watching the game.
Yeah.
Get your fucking acting gear. Does that not sound like a little Tortorella too? Don't give me any of your baloney now. That's a Tortorella type speech, and it clicked on them. It clicked on him because they're putting their big push on Carolina, and he was dead right to go down the bench to his forwards and say, "Quit fucking watching and start playing." So
I have no problem with that.
That's pushing the buttons properly. Okay,
it's properly pushing the buttons.
It's pushing the buttons properly. And now we'll get to the Reeves thing. Okay, Reeves is 35 years old. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a legendary career when it comes to the fisticuffs. I personally believe that when you get to that age and you're a legendary guy, you're willing to still, but I don't think he really would like that. What he's doing is his legendary name still puts fear in everybody. And that's good enough for the New York Rangers. That's good enough, Paulie. The hardcore people and the fans, he doesn't fight enough. He should be fighting more. He should be sending messages. He should be doing. Listen, the guy was third in the league in hits this year for a 35-year-old. Like you said, he looks like he runs out of breath a little quicker. He's also 225 pounds. He's not a small guy.
Right.
Okay? But he's done his job, and he is capable of playing that fourth line. And he doesn't take a lot of stupid penalties.
No.
He doesn't take a lot of stupid penalties, but just having his presence on the bench throughout the year makes everybody feel a little bit better about themselves.
Yeah.
We have a guy on the bench now that we didn't have last year when we needed him. That's what he's brought to the team.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know the feeling. I never got to 35 playing, but you just take a look at, like, when Donald Brashear got to the New York Rangers. I'll give you a good example. Donald Brashear got to the Rangers. Everybody expected him to win fights. He started losing fights because he was 37 years old.
Yeah.
But up till he got to the Rangers, that guy was a monster. He very rarely lost fights. Times this year, he did get handled by that McDermott guy in Colorado. He beat him. McDermott beat him. But McDermott's one of the young, upcoming guys.
Right.
Nobody wants to fight. He's another one nobody wants to fight because he's tough as nails. Now, Reeves is doing his job by just having REAVES in the lineup. That's all it is. It does the job for the team. And he still sticks his nose in there and everything else. But you saw quickly yesterday how he got involved with Domi's kid. And then all of a sudden Smith comes in, but kind of like he came in, but he didn't go any further. And Lorenz came in and goes, well, let me pick on somebody else. You know what I mean? It still gets the job done.
Sure.
Like I said, for a 35-year-old that was third in the league in hits, third in the league in hits this year is a lot for a 35-year-old that gets maybe 8 minutes of ice time, Molly. If he got 20 minutes of ice time, you'd double those hits.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's done his job. I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Okay? Complain about him. That's my theory on that. And I don't want them to go absolutely. I said it before the last game. The Domi incidents and the D'Angelo incidents, you got to put that out of your mind. The goal is to win here right now.
Right.
This is not old-time hockey where you're going to have fights in the playoffs and brawls in the playoffs. This shit don't happen anymore.
Right.
I know that.
Yeah.
Look what happened yesterday. Lorenz gets involved with Trouba, gets a penalty, and the Rangers score a goal.
Right, gets the instigator. I thought the instigator automatically was a game misconduct. What did I miss there? I thought the instigator.
You got 2, 5, and 10.
Huh?
You got 2, 5, and a 10.
2, 5, and a 10, but I thought the instigator.
I don't know.
I thought it was an automatic game misconduct. I was going to look that up.
I have no idea.
I was very
the league's rule book was this big 30 years ago. Now it's this.
Now it's this big. Yeah, no, I get it.
And everybody knows every rule.
Well, I got to tell you, I think the last thing I'm going to end with here, I think we covered everything. I think there's not much more to say than watching. This is very frustrating to me. I get really animated about this.
No.
Yeah, I want to talk about the management again of the league because it's so. I cannot believe, first of all, I cannot believe, and I don't like to do a lot of this, but I got to say this. I can't fucking believe that Barry fucking Buttman still has a fucking job. Okay. And you know I don't use the F word on this show very often, but I am so frustrated with the decision making for the NHL when it comes to how the NHL is displayed to the rest of the world. We know Canada doesn't need, you know, any help. We know that the U.S. needs help with the assertion of the game to get more publicity, to make more money, to have bring on more fans, whatever the case may be.
To grow it, basically.
Okay, to grow. I'm so frustrated because we went. So I've been a hockey fan since I can remember. I've been in the world of hockey a long time. Okay, I remember watching, and I hate to bring it back and get everyone, bring them all back to this, but I remember watching, and I posted it on my personal page today. I remember watching the NHL many, many moons ago on ESPN and ESPN2. Every night there was a hockey game. It was on one of the channels. Sometimes there was two. And it was every night. You could put on ESPN and it was a hockey game, and then later on you'd be on ESPN2 and it was, out west, wherever it was. And you had some of the best analysis. You had some of the best broadcasters. I can still hear Gary Thorne's voice and even Bill Clement, okay?
Yeah.
With that being said, Gary Bettman takes the NHL after years of being on ESPN. Instead of working and growing where you are, it's like building a house. You build the foundation, and then one day you decide, I don't like this foundation. I'm going to move to a whole new spot, right? They take this game and they bring it to NBC Sports, okay? And they do all this work and they spend all this time. They do 5 years, I think, plus on NBC Sports to try to build up the network and incorporate NBC Sports with hockey. Because honestly, if I'm your marketing guy, you got to find a network and stick with it and grow with it. And that network carries your name. It takes time. Anything great takes time to build. They spend all this fucking time with NBC Sports, and now we're right back to where we started for. I'm constantly doing this with the goddamn remote control. Where's the game? It's on True TV. It's on TBC. It's on TBS. It's on CNB. Stop with this nonsense. It's fucking playoff hockey. I want to know where the damn game is every day. I shouldn't have to channel search. It's ridiculous.
I admit
it. You don't find that in the NBA. You don't find that in football. You don't find it in Major League Baseball. But when it comes to hockey, I got to do this. Where's the game? Where's the game? It's frustrating.
That's our next T-shirt. Where's the game, Gary?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Where's the game, Barry? It's bad management, and this is never going to bring America to the sport. What are you missing, bro? I'm sorry.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. For today's game, I had to, go through my DirecTV menu and make sure which one it was going to be on. Was it going to be on TNT? Was it going to be on TBS? Or was it going to be on ESPN? Then I realized this is a weekday and NBA's on, so ESPN's not going to have fucking ESPN's. Exactly. No offense, but ESPN could kiss my ass. They're the most woke fucking station out there in sports right now. Okay, yeah. So I really wish they don't have anything with ESPN. I don't care who's got a job with them or not. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. You got to do a little channel surfing. Where in the old days you kind of knew where to go. I mean, when ESPN, you're talking the good old days when Gary Thorne was there, and Bill Clement was a great color analyst. You know what I mean? and other guys too, that were on ESPN back there, because you used to have that game, then you used to have the late game too that night on ESPN. Games and shit like that. But hey, they got obviously a little better money. This is what it boils down to. They got a little bit better money each time they change from everybody. And you're still talking about a league that gets minuscule amounts of millions compared to billions like the NFL, the NBA,
right. Right.
So anything more they can pad their pocket with, they're going to go with it. And if you're just looking at it purely as a business deal, you have no choice, Paulie, because your board of governors are going to tell you, look, we want an extra $10 million in our coffers before the season starts, or 20 or 25, whatever the cut is for each team. You know what I mean? So it's a little messed up, but it is what it is, and we're gonna have to do a little work from now on. Especially, I'm gonna get that soon. I'm gonna have to get that remote control. It's got it's this big with buttons this big because I can't fucking see.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Or should I get one of those things where you go, please find the NHL hockey game?
I know, right? Exactly.
You have those kind of TVs now. I haven't got one of those yet, but the next one I'm gonna.
Exactly. And,
the only thing I don't like, I don't know if you've noticed this, okay? The games coming out of Canada on ESPN or TBS or TNT, what kind of fucking volume are they using? It's very shrieky and squealy type. The guy's talking the play-by-play, and you're like, you hear this shrieky, squealy type shit in the background. Like, it's just terrible sound.
Well, I'm not going to get into the other side of this. I've had some conversation, and people could say what they want to say about me, and
that's fine. Listen, we got big shoulders. We can take at it. They can criticize us all.
Well, I'm going to be honest.
We're telling it like it is, and this is the way I'm telling you flat out, okay? All the other shows, this is what the people want to hear. This is the way they talk in a bar about their games and about their sports.
Well,
this is the way it's talked.
If I'm going to be 100% to everyone, and I really hope that you take it for what it is, okay? And I'm going to try to stay politically correct here. The bottom line is, this is how I feel, okay? This is my personal opinion. For many years, in many games, let's use the NFL, let's use Major League Baseball along with hockey. When it comes to broadcasting, anyone, there's professionals that do play-by-play, and then there's the color analyst job. Chris, you were the color analyst for many, many years for college hockey, okay? You played the game at the highest level inside the NHL. So that makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me, because honestly, I think I'm a pretty good analyst, okay? I've been told you're a really good hockey analyst. Well, I appreciate that. I've never played a game. I've never played an NHL game. Do I deserve the right? Do you think that somebody should put me as a color analyst on an NHL broadcast? Because I'll tell you right now, I would love that job.
You see this?
5.
3-2.
3-2. Oh, it's 3-2 in the game.
There's lots of time left.
I feel this way, and I don't care if it's a man or a woman, and take it for what you feel, or however you want it to be. In the woke society we are today, we feel like if a woman has played some collegiate hockey somewhere, that she could be a color analyst for the NHL. I disagree. Just like I shouldn't be a color analyst for the NHL. I've never played a game in the NHL. That job is for the professional who's actually played in the experience of that game. That's what that does. The color analyst brings knowledge and actual real game experience inside that forum. Okay? So my thought is, why is whoever you are the color analyst for a game that you've actually never a league that you've actually never played in on the highest level? Why could you be considered a color analyst? Why are you between the benches? You're not a reporter. We're not doing reporting. We're doing color analyst. We're bringing you inside the experience that you have inside the game. It's frustrating to me. I don't understand it. It has nothing to do with man or woman or colors or creed or whatever you want to talk about. And it's very simple to me. And I had this debate on Facebook. I feel that in the NHL, especially at playoff time, I like the Ray Ferraros. I like the Eddie Olczyks. I like the guys who've played the game. The Bouchers, the Weeks, all the guys that played the game at that level, they have the experience inside the league. I don't like the Leah Hextalls, the whoever else you want to bring. And it doesn't have anything to do with gender, people. It has to do with the fact that I want somebody who's – it's what makes this our show dynamic is Chris brings real NHL experience to the show. And that's what – if I was alongside some hobo who just kind of liked hockey, this show wouldn't be what it is. And I'm just being honest.
No, you're not far off on this, Paul. You're not off on this at all. Actually, I agree with you. Your color guy has to be somewhat close. I'm not gonna say 100%, but close to have some kind of expert opinion on the game that he's calling. In other words, you have to have at least played to really give your expertise of what's going on. I'm not disagreeing with your point on that, but I got on the other side now. How do you feel about the play-by-play person? Because I've watched a few play-by-play games so far this year where it's a woman doing the play-by-play. Now, before you answer that, I'm going to give you my theory on that. At first, I was a little what the fuck, why? And then I start thinking, how many play-by-play people do you know that actually played the game?
Not many, if any.
So I'm kind of okay with that part.
I am. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
I'm okay with the play-by-play. It's the color side.
I know. But I think a lot of people got a little, bent out of shape. And even I at first was like, wow, But then I started thinking, play-by-play is different. They're calling the player. They're calling the play. They're not talking about what happened on that play. They're not talking about why that play happened. They're just calling the numbers and the players and who scored, who shot, who passed, who hit, who did this.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when it comes to color analyst, if you're going,
I agree with you. For you to get the real sense of the game. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the names you mentioned, you like, I dislike because I think they talk too much. But that's just my preference. Okay, they talk too much. Like I can see what the fuck's going on in the game. I don't need you telling me every fucking 3 seconds what's going on. That's my opinion, okay?
I get that.
See, the difference between radio, which I did majority of, and on TV, people can actually see what's going on a TV. So you don't need to talk throughout the whole fucking game.
Right.
That's why I get a little with the guys you mentioned. Yeah. Now, radio's different. You have to talk a lot because they're listening to you. They can't see shit.
Right, you're trying to paint a picture. Sure, I get it. Yeah.
Right? Now, I think you're right. I think you're not off on this. I think you should have some kind of expertise at that level to be able to be a color analyst because a color analyst is there to explain the game as it's happening.
With the experience of actually being in it.
Yeah,
and I think that's what makes the dynamic of the color job is that, hey, this is a former player. Like, again, you look at even TV broadcast. Who's next to the conductor? It's Ryan. It's Ryan Callahan. It's Steve Weeks. It's Anson Carr. It's guys that played the game at the level that we're talking about with the NHL experience. I don't want a guy who's got KHL experience or college experience. That means nothing to me when it comes to where we're at. I want the guys that been there, done that, been there, have played in those areas.
If it's NHL, I agree with you. NHL,
that's why I feel
college. If it's juniors, it's juniors.
The color now, can you be the color guy from the top down? Do you want a Chris Kotsopoulos doing college? Of course. Why not? First of all, Chris played in the minors, so he has that experience of coming up. These guys
I did play 1 year in college.
Okay. So I get that part of it, but when you're at the top level, I want somebody who's played and been an experience in that.
I can't disagree with you. I'm totally for you on that. I think that's a good point.
I want people to understand that I had this argument, and that's why I'm bringing it up.
Well, you're going to have this argument all the time because of the way the world we live in right now. Everything's woke. Everything's got to be proper. Everything's got to, hold it now. Everything's got to be proportioned to a point.
Right.
Not everything's being proportioned these days. We all know that.
No, not at all. And I just listen. I don't want anyone to feel that this is chauvinistic, because it's not. I just want what I want at the level, and that's why I said I was upset with the broadcast the way it is now, changing networks. You keep bouncing around network to network to network. You're never going to solidify a place or a home for, not for nothing, but you look at the NFL, and the NFL has done a great job. They have DirecTV for out-of-market people. They know where to go. If I want to watch football, I got to get DirecTV. I know that. They created that for themselves.
That's a good question, now that you brought that up. If you bought the NHL package, are you getting these games?
No.
You have to go to the actual
And that's the other part of that pisses me off. I can't even watch a home broadcast. Because I've paid for the package, okay, but I got to watch ESPN.
I know. That's why I got rid of the NHL package.
Okay? I've paid for the NHL package. So, again, the dynamic, it's really just such a pet peeve of mine. And I feel like your marketing sucks because you're not bringing people to a place where NHL is the home. You look at DirecTV, it's the home of the NFL.
It's also the cost, too.
Right. I get it. But then you look at, if you're an in-market team, you know there's two channels, ABC and NBC, right? And then the night game.
If I'm trying to sell a game of hockey on TV, okay, in America especially in America.
You need a network, Tots.
Okay, but I get a network. Now I'm good. Okay. Just for, shits and giggles here, I'm going to charge $100 a game. I'm just throwing that out there.
Sure.
And nobody buys at $100 a game. Why wouldn't I put it at $50 a game? 2 people will buy it. You understand what I'm saying? Some money's better than no money. Make it easy, accessible, like you said. You're 4th in the sports here.
Right.
You're 4th in it. How do you try to – Lou's just tied it up, big boy.
Wow.
This is critical with 4 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go.
They need to.
My point is this, is that if you're trying to sell something that's basically unsellable, because it has been for decades here, how do you get people to buy? Make it easy, accessible, make it cheap for them. When the price is right, people don't mind spending money, Paulie. Never have, never will. I go to flea markets all the time. Let me tell you, when the price is right, I buy. When the price is not right, I don't buy.
A very good friend of mine, and someone who's really brought me through my career in a lot of ways, has said to me many times, half a loaf of bread is better than no loaf of bread. Bottom, I'm serious. The bottom line is this. They did all this work with ESPN, and Gary Bettman took them out of ESPN and found a new network for cheaper, maybe more money, whatever the case may be is, okay, in NBC. They started to build a brand with NBC Network, right? And then they abandoned them, and they go back to ESPN. This isn't helping the sport grow inside America, and it's not helping people find your programming. That's my point. You want to get your games on TV. I'm a fan. fan. I love the game, and I'm doing this. Where's the game? Where's the game? I gotta find the game.
You're like Woody Woodpecker there.
That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. I should come home and go, okay, I know the game's on this. It shouldn't be a guess. It should
like I said, Paulie, it's something that should be discussed, but it's never going to change. It's never going to change until somebody somewhere gets the bright idea of saying, listen, we got to stick with one programming, one company, one this, one that. Get a 10-year deal, get a 20-year deal instead. You know what I mean? Instead of like a 5-year deal or whatever. Right. Try and get a 20, 25-year deal going. You know what I mean? It's never going to change because, again, I'm going to play devil's advocate. If I'm Gary Bettman and then I'm the board of governors, our contract's up with ESPN in a couple of years. All of a sudden, CBS comes to us and says, listen, we'll give you $250 million more on the contract than you had with the last one. Well, the 30-odd teams in the NHL, whatever how many teams there are going to say, well, that's good. Colorado just scored now. Wow. Yeah, they came right back and scored. But, you know what I'm saying? The NHL is always going to be considered fourth, Paulie. And as long as you're running a team in the NHL, when somebody shows you that you're going to get an extra $10, $15 million a year on your contract for TV, they're going to take it no matter who it is. This is not baseball. Baseball can sit there and turn around and tell you, oh, you don't want to give us the billions we want? Okay, we'll go to that station because they will.
Right.
The NFL can say the same thing to that station because people will pay for their sport.
And I understand that.
The people in general in America will not pay for hockey.
Right.
The hardcore fans will.
Right.
The generalized fan who goes to the bar is not going to go to the bar to watch hockey. They're going to go to watch the NFL playoffs. They're going to watch baseball. And that bar owner is going to pay DirecTV or whoever to get the package, knowing that he's going to get his money back because they're going to get sauced up that night. How many people you know line up to go to all the bars in America in the 7th game of the Stanley Cup?
Depending on who's playing, too.
Doesn't matter. We're talking about across America.
Yeah.
How many? Not very many.
Well, everyone I know, but that's different.
Oh, okay.
I know what you're saying. I'm
telling you right now.
I get your point.
In the middle of Kansas City, everybody's going to the bar that day to watch the Super Bowl that day.
Right.
Everybody's watching the final game in the World Series.
Right.
Okay? Everybody's watching the NBA play. Well, not so much anymore, but you understand what I'm saying? You can't tell me that the whole town's going to shut down to go watch the 7th game of the Stanley Cup in any city.
Right. Yeah.
You can't tell me that.
No, I don't disagree with you. And I think that validates my point that you have to build a brand inside a network.
Say hello to Paulie.
Hi, Paulie.
Hi. I think you have to build the brand inside of a network. And like you said, is a great point. Instead of these 3, 4, 5-year deals, they need to be looking at bigger deals at 10 years. Because, again,
I don't know what the last deal is, what they did with ESPN.
You want to find a home you want to build the brand. And the only way you're going to build the brand of the NHL is to find a network, stick with it, and grow with that network. And as the network grows, you'll grow. And then, again, you're not questioning where the games are. I mean, even the fans of the game are running around trying to find the game. What makes you think the fans of the people that aren't fans of the game are ever going to find your game?
They're not.
So, it's those types of things that kind of really just get on the.
I get it. But you and I have been beating this dead horse for like 10, 12 years now, starting with
a lot of dead horses that we beat on.
We've been beating. Listen, again, it comes down to this. It's not easily accessible for all people. The average sport fan in America will watch every sports final except for one, and that's hockey. They won't. I don't see that happen. And I've never seen that happen where a town gets excited, even if their team's not in it, where they're, hey guys, there's a big party at Joe's bar today. We're going to watch the finals of the Stanley Cup. But boy, oh boy, you tell me it's the finals of the Super Bowl or NCAA college basketball or Major League Baseball, man, that Joe's bar is full. Okay?
Right.
That's just the way it is. Now, how do you draw those fans in? You give them something that they really don't pay a lot for. That's how you get them interested in the sport. You can't just bang them right off the bat with a hammer and tell them it's going to cost you this much and it's going to cost you that much. Right. Again, if you're not getting any bites on your bait at a certain price, why not
change your bait?
Make the bait smaller,
and
people will start biting. I always said that. If you're asking too much money, cut the price down and get 10 people instead of one person. Then there'll be 10 more. Then there'll be 10 more. Then there'll be 10 more.
Agreed. Agreed.
With that being said, we need you and me to run the show.
Well, hey, listen, with that being said, enough of these shenanigans. If you want a shirt, you got to email me or reach out to me.
And sizes, okay?
Yeah, or Beth right now we're going to go through the Instigators Hockey Show Facebook page. We're going to be doing some different things. Right now, I just want to get a general idea of who wants a shirt.
Yeah.
I need your size. You're looking about $25 with shipping and handling. So when it's all done, about $27. $27
$2 to ship. It's going to cost more than that.
$28. So
$5 minimum, probably by mail, like U.S. Post Office. $5 minimum.
So I know you're thinking $30 for a shirt.
Yeah.
With that being said, I just need to know who wants what and when. Next year, we're going to grow our apparel. We're going to definitely grow our apparel. We're going to be doing some type of mugs. We're going to do hats. We're going to do shirts. We're also going to incorporate video. We're going to have other guests on. There's going to be a lot growing. The brand is growing. The Instigator brand, the Instigator Hockey Show is growing, and I want you to grow with us. So be the first with the shirts, and next year we're going to be doing mugs and hats. The whole nine. We've got a whole marketing team that we're going to be putting together soon. There's a lot of really good stuff coming. So just stick tight. Enjoy the programming. Keep the questions coming. Beth, we love you. You're the best. Yeah. We're so happy you're doing well. We're so proud of you. And we thank you so much for everything you do. Listen, all the art, all the topics, all the marketing publicity that's done on social network, that's all Beth Penny. I got to tell you, she does a wonderful job.
Yes, she does.
She's so good at it. She's so good at it. Next year, the other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be, if you're interested, we're going to be doing some advertising. We'll put some banners up. We'll talk about you. We'll do live read-ins about your business and what you bring, and what you do. And we're gonna do all kinds of fun stuff that way. So, with that being said, I just want to say that I thank everyone who's been involved. We continue to grow. We get more and more listeners every day. The Instigators Hockey Show group on Facebook is growing every day. We get more and more members every day. So continue to grow there. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel that we're on. I'm going to do some changing there. It's under Paulydee right now. I'm going to change that to the Instigators. There's going to be a lot of progression here. Once the summer comes and hockey's over, I'm going to be able to spend some time to kind of move everything over. Remember, this show started as the Paulydee radio program. That's how it started. Very, very long time ago. Probably.
I remember, like, who the fuck's this Paulie? What does he want me for?
And now, and here we are. We're wearing shirts now, so it's all good. It's all good stuff.
I was wondering if you were the Paulydee guy from that MTV show at first.
I know. And Kotsi, I forgot what program you were on. It was hilarious. You're like, and my co-host, Paulydee. He's the real Paulydee, not the guy from Jersey Shore. It was hilarious.
You are the real Paulydee.
I am. I'm older than him. So, with that being said, though, It's been so much fun, and it's only gonna be more fun and more analytical and just so much more as we continue to grow here. And I thank you for your patience.
Oh, and the Blues tied it up with 56 seconds to go.
Wow! So what is it? 4-4 or 5-5?
4-4 now.
Wow! What a game! So tune in.
They pulled the goalie and tied it up. I think it's 50-something seconds left.
That's pretty cool. So I'll be able to watch the rest of this while I go to bed here. It's getting late. I'm going to turn it to a pumpkin. We love you and we thank you so much. With that being said, let's go Rangers tomorrow night. It's a big, big game. Game 5. Kotze seems to think it's the pivotal game. The Rangers win Game 5. They go on to win the series. If they don't win Game 5, it could get scary, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night.
For Chris and I, thank you for tuning in. The Instigators Hockey Show. Order your T-shirts now. We'll see you next time. Good night, everyone. And